We'll continue reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and today's verse is verse number 43. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnu Padaya Vishnu Krishnaya Vishnu Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So today's verse is verse number 43. So let us chant the verse. Utsanna kula dharmanam
सनकुलधर्माणां
Manushanam Janardhana
मनुष्याणां जनार्दन
नरके नियतं वासो
नरके नियतं वासो
भवतीति अनुशुश्रुमा.
भवतीति अनुशुश्रमा.
उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणां
उत्सनकुलधर्माणां
मनुष्याणां जनार्दन
मनुष्याणां जनार्दन
नरके नियतं वासो
नरके नियतं वासो
भवतीत्यानुशुश्रुमा.
भवतीति अनुशुश्रमा.
Please, at least 2 to 3 should chant the verse if possible.
उत्सनकुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवतीति अनुशुश्रमा.
Anybody else wants to chant?
उत्सनकुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुमा.
उत्सनकुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुमा.
Okay, let us read translation and purport. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family tradition are destroyed dwell always in hell. Purport. Arjun bases his argument not on his own personal experience but on what he has heard from authorities. That is the way of receiving real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. There is a system in the Varnashram institution by which, before death, one has to undergo process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must realize the process of atonement called prayashchitta. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to the hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as a result of sinful activities. So, Arjuna's talk with Krishna, explaining the reason why he is not prepared to fight. And till yesterday, we saw he has given the reason that the generations before the current generation, like the ancestors, they will fall down. And because the main people or the main personalities of the Kula will die, the other remaining other people in the family will take a religious path, and that will destroy the next generation. And if the next generation and women and men are destroyed by their religious activities, then whole the society projects are also destroyed. So now here he is explaining what happens to that particular kula whose kula dharma is finished. So his argument was like the woman in the kula may get polluted, men may get polluted, and there will be mixed varna, and then they will destroy the tradition. So once the kula tradition is destroyed or finished, then those people have no kula dharma. So they will be punished for their sinful activities, because of which the kula dharma is finished. So here in this verse, a few words are very important, like niyatam vaso. So he says, narke niyatam vaso means they will have to eternally stay in narak, or the hellish planets. Yesterday shloka he was saying the Arjuna was saying the kula dharma is shashvata. Now his argument is they will have to stay eternally. So here we can see Arjuna's confused state of mind, in which he's taking the kula dharma as the eternal or shashvat, right? And here he's saying the hellish conditions will be eternal, so there will not be change. So this is confused state. Like kula or the dynasties are not permanent, right? There were many dynasties in Indian history: the Chandra dynasty, Maurya dynasty, Gupta dynasty. All these dynasties were there, but now we see there is no one of that dynasty or that kula. So that kula is finished, almost finished. We, at least nobody knows if there are any traces or any person from that kul in this world now. So there were so many dynasties. They had their own time. They ruled over India and other parts, and then that Kula was finished. So Kula are not eternal. The dynasties are not eternal. They finish, but Arjuna is saying them as Shashvata. So this is his confused state. Then he's saying Narke Niyatam Vaso. So they will have to get punishment uh, eternally, or always niyatam, always. But it's not like that. When people goes to get reactions of their sinful activities in hellish condition, then there is some rules, right? How much time you have to suffer, where you have to suffer, and what you have to do to again revive your life, and again take births, so that you can make progress towards self-realization. So that is also not eternal. So but Arjuna is thinking it's always. But here the like the shashvata and this word niyatam that used by Arjuna is also having the meaning, another meaning, that it's a long period of time. So when he used Sanatan uh, also to Kula Dharma, Shashwat also to Kula Dharma. So he's saying his interpretation is another interpretation, that it's a long period of time for which we have to suffer, which is as good as eternal for one person. So this is Arjuna's state, and he's fearful of those punishments in Narak that they will have to do if he kills the soldiers on the battlefield. So this is Arjuna's consciousness, where he's trying to think it, not eternal things, eternal temporary things as eternal, eternal things as temporary. So he's not talking on his Sanatan Dharma, but his temporary Dharma and bodily relationships, which are anyway going to finish. And another word important is Anushushruma. So he is not giving the arguments, or he is not putting the points on his own thoughts or his mind. He's giving references. He's saying that I have heard. So he has heard from some authoritative sources about this sentence, that those whose family tradition is lost, they have to suffer. So this is also important, like from where and from whom we hear anything. So we have to check whenever we hear in which disciplic succession that speaker is, on whose authority he is speaking, on whose which scripture he is speaking. So all these things are very important when we hear from any sources and we start believing. In India and other parts of the world also, there are so many motivational speakers nowadays. It's a high time for motivational speakers, and there are also different Maharaj, different Babajis who speak on different topics. But it's our duty to check the parampara of those speakers or disciplic succession of those speakers, so that we don't get cheated and we don't follow the unwanted path. So, and Srila Prabhupada mentions about atonement. So in Shastra, there are different atonements for each of the sinful activities, and that list is, I heard, it's very big. And if we are doing we are doing sinful activities every second. When we breathe, with the breathing, we are taking inside so many insects, those who die while walking, while moving our body. So there are so many ways we do sinful activity, so we cannot atone for each and every sinful activity. But the best sinful activity that Bhagavatam says is surrender to the surrender to God, or the devotee of the God who is serving God, and try to serve that devotee, serve the God, and engage your body and senses in doing bhakti to Vishnu or Krishna. So that way you engage your consciousness, your mind, your body, your sentences, words, everything in glorification or service of the God. And in that mood, you chant the holy name of the Lord. So this way you will atone for all your sinful activities, or this can deliver you from the sinful activities. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Sarva dharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham sarva papebhyo mokshayachami ma sucha. Surrender unto me, I will take care of all your sinful activities. Do not worry. That is Arjun's last instruction of Krishna to Arjuna in 18th chapter. So that is also one proof that if we surrender and serve the God and his devotees, then we are already doing atonement or prashchitta for all sinful activities. So these are few points, and now Arjuna will, in couple of shlokas, he is almost concluding his talk or his concern with Krishna, and he will take next action after his talk with Krishna, that we will see in the subsequent shlokas. Thank you very much. So, if any other points or reflections that anybody wants to share, please feel free. It can be anything, not from today's verse, not from today's topic. It can be anything, that does not matter. It just we have to keep the discussion going. Okay, thank you very much for joining today, and we will continue our reading tomorrow, where we are close to the finish of the first chapter and Arjuna's talk. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.